Hey there, demolishers, Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to RimWorld Zed City, episode 41, Teardown. Is it time viable to melee train everyone? No, not really. Because unless you have a passion in it, like, it's gonna take you, it's suicidal, I'll put it that way. Like, probably the way to do it is to, there's really not a safe way to do it. Like punching squirrels, I guess. But like, it's just not a viable thing to train. Because you can't, there is no target dummies in vanilla RimWorld. That's not a thing that we would ever be able to make. The way it works is it has to be a hostile target for it to count for experience in default RimWorld. And unless you have a melee of 10, the only hostile targets that are readily available are zombies, and they will just kill you if you try to punch them. So that's why it's like totally non-viable. 1 more minute to vote on the next priority, and then I'll resolve that poll. It used to be once upon a time that you could actually train your shooting. This was years ago in RimWorld, but you could train your shooting by putting down a sleeping spot and just like shoot at the sleeping spot. But you know, RimWorld has since updated to remove those kind of exploits. So given that it has removed that specific exploit, the exploit of training dummies would be considered like a exploit as well. Get him! Alright, let's just kill the tanky before they, like, destroy a pump. One of the reasons why, when people tell me, like, how to play RimWorld for the first time, and I'm always like, play completely vanilla, is a lot of the times, and I'm not trying to call you out for this, but a lot of the times when I'm streaming, people will suggest things that are modded, not realizing that they're referring to a mod, and then I have to inform them, vanilla RimWorld doesn't work that way. Like, you modified your game to work differently, but the base rules, you know, don't allow for like, training dummies and, you know, all these other sorts of things. Or in the case that happened an hour ago, when asked if I was going to have my colonists have babies, that's in the biotech DLC, and this series has no ZLCs whatsoever, so, like, my answer was a bit snarky of, like, well, that would be impossible. It should have been, I don't have biotech enabled, but, the answer's the same, is, like, it helps to know the rule set, because if you don't know the rule set, you're going to get confused. It's one of the things that, like, I don't watch a lot of other RimWorld content creators, but, like, occasionally when I raid people, I do. And it amazes me that there's a lot of RimWorld content creators that have, like, a bajillion mods. Like triple-digit number of mods, but they don't know what they do. So they're constantly fumbling through their, like, architect tab. And there's thousands of things that fill the screen, and, like, there's so many subtabs and tabs of subtabs. And they have no idea what any of it does. And, like, I just can't imagine trying to play that way. It would, that would be absolute horrifying experience for me to, like, just, I would never put myself through that. But some people do. Just, people are built differently, I guess. Alright, we're taking a snack break here. Because of the vulnerability of, like, the pumps... Oh man, that one's at 60%. I'm not using grenades, because I think it would be challenging to not blow up my pumps with them. Yeah, the, one of my, let's call it, like, pedagogy, or modus operandi, or whatever, one of my design things when I come up with series is I try to keep it as simple as possible while executing the idea. So adding as few mods as necessary to build the worlds and to build the lore and backstories and to have it be playable, because a lot of the times it's very easy to just heap mods upon mods upon mods, and then just end up with like a muddled mess of mods that aren't effective in storytelling. So I'm constantly trying to have my mod list be as few as possible, apart from the typical like quality of life mods that I use, like CM color-coded mood bar, which shows relationships and moods and things. You know, there's some mods that are hard to live without, but I'm definitely of the mind of like trying to keep my mod list as simple as possible. And in this case, there was nothing in any of the DLCs that made sense for this world. Like, it doesn't make sense that there are royals wandering around in a zombie apocalypse, so royalty's out. It doesn't make sense that there's a tree to pray to, so again, royalty's out. It doesn't make sense to have robots that are like, that zombies wouldn't even necessarily recognize as being valid attack targets. Or vampires, like nothing in biotech made sense. You know, like if you think about it, ideology made sense a bit, but then ideology doesn't like, more or less like ideology only makes things easier depending on how you set up your ideologies. But with like, you know, with all of the area of effect boons that your leaders get, you could make, you know, ideology would have been hard to balance, I think, in this series. And because, although it's pretty, ideology is pretty innocuous, I just thought it was not necessary, because a lot of people just don't own the DLCs, so to make the content as accessible to as many people as possible, why include a mod that doesn't do a lot? Yeah, craft specialist is OP in ideology, true. Or shooting specialists in this case. You know, like shooting specialists for this specific series would be ridiculous, because they would just gun everything down so very effectively. And if you had like 2 shooting specialists that had overlapping like, you know, cooldowns or whatever, like, you know, you get into muddle territory where it's like you become godlike way too soon. You know, case in point would be if you watch the first Wendigo. The first Wendigo, as far as Wendy, the main character's power level was concerned, how strong she was, pretty much her strength was entirely vanilla, and she was as functionally immortal as, like, you basically can get in RimWorld. She was so strong. It's like a raid would show up, and she's like, all right, everyone, take a nap. I got it. It's like, but it's 200. She's like, I don't care. 200 enemies, 500 enemies, doesn't matter. They're all dead. And she would, you know, it was ridiculous. And because that was completely vanilla, it was, you know, it wasn't cheating, but it certainly wasn't a fair challenge, because she was just so strong. All right, so we are heading towards a lull, which means it would be in my advantage to make a lot of noise and start culling the zombies. So I think once Fangface and Exarch waked up, I'm going to try that. So the current priority right now is to improve the colony's walls and entryway. So another thing I'm thinking about, redesign-wise, to limit my... So, to back it up, one of the vulnerabilities of this base design is every piece of wall that I have that is not easily shot at from the lake is a liability, because those spots can be attacked by tanky operators, and the threat to the colony can't be negated as a result. So you're with me so far. So here's the thinking. The thinking is how to make the base safer. And the way to make the base safer is to have the smallest footprint as possible, right? Which means redesigning kind of a lot of stuff, I think. You know, because I hadn't really thought about this to begin with, in its inception. So one thing I might want to do is this external wall here that I had planned. I might want it to come like this, where it goes like that, because I don't think the tanky operators will walk over here, But if I do have tanky operators attacking my walls, I would rather have them struggle to hit my walls here, where I have a chance to snipe at them from sniper rifles, because sniper rifles have a range of, what, 40? So this is just within sniper rifle range. So one way to redesign the external walls is just make it easy for anything attacking my external walls to be sniped at. So that's option number one, and that's pretty easy to do, is to have double insulated walls around here that are lined with like straw in case of a wall break. I can set it on fire and get a bunch of zombies killed with fire. And then another thing is, like, all of this stuff is like a tactical liability, right? It makes it really hard. It clusters zombies up near the base, which is bad, and it can turn things into a dangerous situation. So what I'm thinking of doing is maybe setting up my garages like this instead, where we have a much smaller way in and out, and then I leave this more or less intact, where this just becomes a wall like this, knowing that, yes, there is entirely a possibility that tankies come down here, but the only way to mitigate that is to have like a... I mean, there is a way to remove that risk, whereas if I set up my... I could set up my garages here, where this is the final exit of the garage, so that this is basically flush, where from this spot, we could probably reliably kill anything coming from the south. Which means that, like, all of this would be removed as a redesign. And I don't think that that is unreasonable. I think having a very, very small external footprint kind of makes the most sense. And I only built it this way initially to cluster them up here, but I don't, now that this is all dried out, I don't really mind them clustering here. So I think that that's probably the route I'm going to take. Yeah. That's what I'm going to do. I mean, it's pretty radical. It's a big change to the base, but it serves a very specific purpose of mitigating our risk from, like, you know, because it's entirely conceivable that we would get, like, a wave of tanky operators, multiples of them, hitting a particular weak spot, and it penetrating deeper and deeper and deeper into the base, as even if we have, like, doubled up walls, that really only stops one of them, but probably not three. And we're definitely going to head into situations where we end up with just, like, an onslaught of madness type, you know. So yeah, that's the thought, and that's what I'm going to start working on. So it's a pretty big redesign, but I think I like it. Is there anything I can do to put down to slow their movement? Yes and no. I could slow their movement if I kite one of the Slimers into a roofed up section. So that was another thing that I had in mind, is if I have rain blockers, like a roof, and then around the entryways, multiple steel tiles to stop plant growth, I can actually use those slime zombies to create speed bumps for zombies, where I have doors that can open and close, obviously, for my own people, and that I use those slime zombies to create sort of a semi-permanent speed bumps to stop them from being able to attack. So I did have that thought as well. You know, I mean, I'll keep that in mind, I guess, as a possible thing to do. So yeah, let's get this big old redesign set up. So the reason I wouldn't want to use barricades, if you're wondering, because barricades are vanilla, is barricades offer cover. So anything that offers cover makes shooting the enemies more difficult. So it would be in my disadvantage to give cover to these zombies, because then they're just harder to kill. So I wouldn't want to do that. And then that does mean ditching this geyser, if that was the question. I didn't see the question asked. But yeah, it would mean not caring about the geyser. Oh, Guerrero just got a creative inspiration. So here's the thing. He has a crafting of 16 and a construction of 16. Currently, we have 2 legendary beds and a masterwork bed, so I could try for another legendary bed. What should Guerrero make? So I could do a bed, I could do a recreation item. Like billiards or poker. Or a weapon. And I'm going to give you just 1 minute to vote on this. A sculpture is art, so that wouldn't be useful. No one in the colony has art skills. Then I'll probably have the walls flush like this. Or even... I could even do it like that. And then there's like no way to hide. I think I'm going to do that. It's an extreme relinquishing of territory. But it comes... I think it ultimately is a really far less vulnerable design. Okay, it's a tie. I'm going to flip a coin. Heads will be a weapon, tails will be recreation. Heads, it's a weapon. Alright, then I'm going to have you guys decide on the weapon. So we did just get charge pulse munitions, so I could try a charge rifle, charge lance. Minigun. I think those probably make the most sense. Or maybe even chain shotgun. Well, chain shotguns don't have enough range that I think it wouldn't be worth it. So, you know, there's actually one more thing that I could do. Or longsword. Give himself a high damaging melee weapon. It does make everything that I just built out here kind of worthless, but oh well. Plans change and for the better, I think. Alright, we're nearing a 0 threat. Zombies are really starting to congregate around the docks. Once we hit 0 threat, I can go out and start purging. So the multiple garage doors here are for airlocks, whereas this is the airlock, so this door gets left open. Meaning that we have like a door into this airlock so we can toggle this door here. Like that. So it will, the driveway will look something like this. And then there will be a door here giving access to the docks. So then this here is the final exit. And in the final exit, one thing we might want to do with this design is to keep a lot of these external walls as it accumulates the zombies in a spot that we like to shoot at, knowing that like everything south of this wall could go bye-bye and it wouldn't be all that detrimental to our crew. That's what I'm thinking. Is I'm not eagerly going to destroy this infrastructure necessarily. I can leave it in place, knowing that it is of no consequence if I do lose it. More of a lesser consequence. All right, looks like we're going to do a charge rifle. The question is, do I even have the steel for that? So 50 plasteel, got that, and 2 advanced components? I do. Okay, cool. Question to you all, or prediction for you all. Will it be legendary? Give you 2 minutes to predict. All right, he's already starting to make it. There it is. Let's hope he doesn't make a stool or something in the meantime. So unsurprisingly, I'm going to be out of granite really quickly. Granite blocks. But some of the unnecessary redundancies down here, I can just get rid of, like the garage doors. And change them to like wooden ones or something cheap. Because the area down here isn't structurally part of our defense. So destroying this here and regaining material and then turning into like quick open wood. Also means that all of this can be unroofed. I would like to... It looks like the moisture pumps might survive until they expand, meaning that the fire suppression might not be necessary. But I would very much like to wall them up full of stone. Hospital beds are done. I'm going to get vital monitors, because they kind of go hand in hand, but then I'll have you guys pick what's next. It's unfortunate I lost an entire day of sun. This eclipse has been happening for 20 hours. Because I wanted daylight to go actively hunt the zombies. because shooting in the day is better, you know, light levels and all, and movement, and etc. But Randy, the lovely storyteller that he is, was like, oh, you want to be productive? No. There'll be none of that. In the dark. All right, Guerrero. Wow, 22 work left. He's basically done. All right, Redfield, I am going to snake him out the door because it looks like there's a little bit of... Oh, no, there's a zombie coming in. I wanted to do some moisture pump repairs. How about now? Maybe? No, no. Just won't leave me alone. Actually, I don't even want that. I don't want any of it. I'm going to remove more of the roof here because I'm planning on unroofing this area. I'll take masterwork. I live with that. Wanted legendary, but... So the real advantage is over the normal one. Accuracy medium and short is probably the most relevant. So 64, 55, and then the damage is 15. And then this is 74, 86, damage is 19. So damage is up, accuracy is up. That should be a true slaying machine. And that resolves the prediction. It was not legendary. So leaving the walls will negate the line of sight that I wanted to achieve, except for when there's like a breach. So what I'm planning on doing is having... well, you'll see when I'm done. What I'm planning on doing is removing this wall here so that there's a physical gap between these two walls. So if I do get a breach, I can shoot at the breachers before they get in the base. As I think you can see now, sort of the concept. Because I can stand like where this granite sculpture is and fire on anything that is over in this no man's land. All right, we're going to go Devil Strand next. Interesting. So, I can leave the defenses intact. You know, all the extra walls. Some of the walls I actually want to get rid of, like these walls. But I can leave most of the walls intact and still have, like, a redundancy for if and when there's a breach and I need to, you know, rally the forces to defend from said breach. Sallyport with a murder hole. Yeah, that's one way to describe it. Oh, is that still roofed? No. Why is it? Oh, it's in shadow. Okay. All right, it's high noon. I think I'm sending my shooters out to go do some zombie killing. Clear those zombies out so I can work a little bit more freely. And that way I can also remove unwanted features of my external walls that I've decided against. Like this stuff. How much? I only have 1 day of low threat left. Stupid. Eclipse. Every other zombie. So there's 99 zombies in this pit. I'm unrestricting everybody because everywhere is safe. That's awesome. So with these shooters out of here, I might as well grab some stuff to bring home. Although there's not a lot of stacks of stuff out here worth grabbing. I'm planning to get rid of, I'll move this turret to the dock. And I am gonna get... Can you stop? Get rid of most of this infrastructure. I'll leave this door as the final exit. But, I get rid of all of this. Oh, I lost... Is it a brownout? Oh, no, I just snipped the power. That's not smart, considering I want my water pumps to keep pumping. So, let's put that back. And maybe not wipe my power cables out. I'm not sure why I queued those up to be destroyed in the first place. Maybe do a slag run? Yeah, that would be very, very wise. As soon as the night crew's up, I will do just that. Get us some metals. I could also do a granite. Quirrell, you look free. Do a granite run too. Just get a bunch of granite chunks. Quirrell's probably not going to be too happy with this because it's late at night, but oh well. It's pretty efficient though. I must say, it is pretty quick. So I hope you guys like the new sort of design. I'm hoping it helps to mitigate a lot of future problems. So we haven't had like... We've only had a few wall breaches, but one of the most recent wall breaches, in hindsight, now that I've seen that bullets just like oddly go backwards, is I feel like the wall breach that we had at that point was game bugs and not inattentiveness of bullets just like deciding to travel wrong and backwards, and totally not my fault. It would be hard to check. I'd have to go through the VOD like painstakingly, but I'm assuming that was the problem. I didn't check how tired he was. I probably should have done that. Right, where are their other slag? There's a high cluster here. Yeah, I saw the steel on the ground. It's a small enough stack that I just didn't bother. Okay. How's his needs? Yeah, he's gonna need to sleep soon. Oh, Fangface is out here making the pump lines. I'm gonna have Stormguard work on the cables. So that we can, the moisture pumps expand. And then it would also be really good to fully surround our pumps with stone during this respite, so that they are much harder to get destroyed. Well, that's annoying. Grizzly Bear wants a piece of grow. Alright. Well, time to turn in. It is a lot of slag, though. Exarch, what are you doing? You're playing horseshoes on this? For real? I fully expect that the Grizzly Bear to pick a different fight sometime soon. Fangface, don't do it! It's worth reminding everyone that it's very, very, very dangerous to run people over with a truck. You will, like, lose a limb very quickly. So. Alright, with the time I have remaining, let's micromanage to wall up this stuff in stone. I think it's worth doing. Right, buddy? That way I can use fire against zombies and, like, it's not going to burn my efforts to the ground. I still need to plug them in, but that will come. Redfield, you free? You're cooking fine meals? Once you're done, lay the cable. Oh, Guero. Oh, I scheduled him for pure work. Yeah, that's right. Sorry, buddy. Go to sleep. I was wondering why I was still up. Thank you for tuning in to RimWorld Zed City, which originally streamed live on Twitch November 21st. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule, countdown timers for upcoming streams, and also a link to Discord if you'd like to join my online gaming community. Thank you so very much for watching, and a special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. Hope to catch you in next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow Zedites,